Hi guys, Lunar here. Welcome to this Cyberpunk 2077 video, where we are going to go over all the latest stuff we know about the upcoming RPG. Now, recently I started covering Destiny 2, which a lot of you guys don't particularly like. However, one of the main reasons I wanted to make this video was to point out the fact that I'm not trying to switch my channel to a Destiny 2 channel. I'm trying to switch my channel to one that simply covers the biggest games that are coming out or upcoming, and this is one of them. So while you guys might not enjoy games like Destiny 2 or something like GTA 6, which I'm looking forward to, you will enjoy when it comes to cover things like The Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, and so on. So really guys, any game that has an open map for me to explore, collectibles, loot grinding, character developing, that kind of stuff is what I like to do, and I really want to cover those types of games. Now, one of those games, and it's possibly the game I've been looking forward to the most, is Cyberpunk 2077. Some of the keen-eyed viewers amongst you might have noticed that the game actually has been in my intro for a long time. Cyberpunk is one of my favorite genres, and anything with a dystopian vibe to it has my attention. We have no release date yet, but I'm hopeful it's going to be out before the next Elder Scrolls or Fallout game, as it's been in development for quite a while. So in this video, I thought I'd go over some info that is confirmed for Cyberpunk 2077. And if you guys enjoy, we can do some more vids when I have time, as there is already lore and other stuff for the franchise already, so plenty to talk about. So let's start off with what is Cyberpunk 2077. Well, Cyberpunk 2077 is an upcoming open world RPG from CD Projekt Red, creators of the Witcher game, and it takes place in somewhere called Night City. The game is based off of the previous RPGs Cyberpunk 2013 and Cyberpunk 2020, published in the 80s and 90s. But the new game is non-linear, so it uses the same world, but it's not technically limited by the story, and also the fact that Cyber 2077 is taking place 50 years after 2020, it would kind of be difficult anyway to continue the exact story. The game will be first or third person and follow the story of you, as you travel through this metropolis exploring, doing missions, and helping its citizens. The city's citizens are not English speakers though, and so a big part of the game will involve finding or buying translator implants, which we know are part of the game, that will help unravel the city's secrets. The player has something in their brain, which is a piece of futuristic tech called Braindance, and Braindance is a digital recorder device that streams directly into your brain, which allows the player character to experience emotions, brain processes, and muscle movement of another person as if they were their own memories. We also know one bit about the game's combat system, in that it's basing the combat in a pen and paper RPG, so how exactly that will work in a video game we will have to wait and see. Other than this, we don't have a lot of info, but we can go into the actual story a little bit later. Next, how big will Cyberpunk 2077 be? Well, back in September 2016, we learned that CD Projekt Red applied for grants which suggest that the game could feature a huge living city and seamless multiplayer, again, which we will talk about a little bit more. That's backed up by a story published back in 2015, in which we learned that Cyberpunk 2077 will be far bigger than anything else CD Projekt Red has done before, including The Witcher 3. The article was published by MBC, a gaming media website, after an interview with Jose Teixeira, a visual effects specialist at CD Projekt Red, in which he said, "Cyberpunk is far bigger than anything else that they've done before. Far, far bigger. We're really stepping into the unknown in terms of complexity and size and problems we encounter," saying that they learned a lot from The Witcher 3 and that they can in fact expand and improve upon the next game that comes around, which will be Cyberpunk 2077. So based on that, we can assume if the game is bigger than The Witcher, it's going to be a massive, complex world, bigger than anything we've possibly seen before for consoles anyway, as the game is confirmed for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well as PC. One final thing before we look at the story a little bit is the potential thing there that I mentioned, which is multiplayer. As far back as 2013, in an interview with Eurogamer, we know about the multiplayer for the game. Managing director Adam Badowski said that the main story would be epic and the game will contain multiplayer features in some form. So in what way we don't know. The article was almost 4 years ago though, and since then we've seen plenty of games make co-op RPG style kind of things, like Dying Light for example from fellow Polish game developer Techland. However, it could be something far more simple, like some kind of minigame or something like that. Unlikely to be a PvP type multiplayer, but I guess you never know. However, developers did confirm the game was nothing like a shooter, and it is in fact an RPG at its core. So it's definitely going to be a more Skyrim RPG kind of game than an open world shooter kind of game like Destiny. So loads of possibilities. Personally, I'm hoping that it is multiplayer for the actual story, even if it's just two-player co-op. That would make the game far more appealing to me anyway, but single player is still okay, I guess. Finally guys, let's talk a bit about the game and the story. The game won't follow follow the story of its predecessors, but how much it will move this story away from them we don't know, but what we can say is the story will take place in the same location, which is called Night City, and so we could take a look at that to get an idea and feel for how the new game is. The Night City is a city of 5 million people on the west coast of the United States, located between Los Angeles and San Francisco, in an area called Del Coronado Bay. Following a vast socio-economical collapse and period of martial law, the United States government has had to rely on several mega corporations to survive. This has given them a veritable carte blanche to operate as they will. Here is a passage from the Cyberpunk 2020 pen and paper RPG called the Night City Sourcebook, which gives you an insight into the place. A planned urban community founded in 1994 by the late entrepreneur Richard Alex Knight, established at the head of the Del Coronado Bay and facing the Pacific Ocean to the west, Night City is a modern city of the 21st century. Its wide streets and ultra-modern towers are home to over 1 million people, with another 4.5 million living in the greater Night City area of Westbrook, North Oak, Haywood, Pacifica, South Night City and Rancho Coronado. An exciting and vibrant place to live, Night City is even more fun to visit. A world famous for its slogan, "The City on the Edge of Tomorrow," the area hosts almost 9 million tourists, conventioneers and corporate travellers every year. A planned community with an advanced rapid transit system, its own net LDL, and a corporate centre boasting representatives from over a dozen of the world's most powerful mega corporations. Night City is a shining example of technology triumphant over the trouble of the past. Now that description is the description of what the city was meant to be seen as, but from an interview with Mike Pondsmith, the writer of the paper RPG Night City Sourcebook, he says, "Punks and corporate stooges of all varieties wander these foggy streets, and by 2023, corporations are openly warring them. Cyberpunk 2077 will show us what happens to the city in the aftermath of that war, so 50 years later, when things have been rebuilt." So guys, that's just a little bit of what we know on the Night City, and it gives you a feel for the game and what the story will be. The mega corporations are in control, presumably you will fight to try and overthrow them and win back your freedoms, I guess, or something similar to that, and the setting for the game is a futuristic dystopian war-torn place, so I don't know about you guys, but the thought of a huge open world RPG set in that massive futuristic city sounds amazing, and I hope that the final game is good, as many have tried to make similar style games, but they always fall short, I kinda think, and sci-fi RPGs definitely deserve their turn in the spotlight. And a game coming from the developers of The Witcher 3, which we already know was hugely successful, I'm really hopeful that this game will be just as good, if not better. Well guys, let me know if you're also excited about this game. If you want, there are literally tons of stuff I can make on the game if you enjoyed this video in a lot more detail. The Night City has several entire books written on it, for example, that go into loads of stuff and lore about the place. Well, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up and comment as well. It's appreciated. Also subscribe for more daily news guides and updates. But with that being said, stay awesome, and I will see you all next time.